Hey guys, KRX50 here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Deluxe Giffard Rex ViStamp from Kamen Rider Revice. This is a special 2-in-1 ViStamp that lets Kamen Rider REVI and Kamen Rider Vice achieve their final forms. So, let's get started. First off, we'll look at the Giffard Rex ViStamp starting in its combined form. So, as you can clearly see, when combined, the two create a T-Rex head. Now, while the name is a bit of an odd one, I can't actually explain why it's called Giffard Rex without going into spoilers about the series. Getting into the details, you can see that, like a lot of things, this carries over the key Revice colors of pink, purple, and light blue. It's got this nice semi-translucent plastic with a hexagon pattern all laid into it, while the light blue lines are a nice metallic color. You can see here, got the stamper for one of these stamps, and then you can see the other one on the other side. Buttons are on this side, and there's also a little connector here which will come into play later. Now the activation buttons are here and here, and while you can activate them while combined, we can instead separate them. So to do that, you just want to take the top half and slide it out from the bottom half. And here we have the Giffard Rex ViStamp, side N and side S. So for each one, they have a pretty different design from each other. You can now see them from the top, where you see this nice little DNA spiral or DNA helix in the center. And that's where the lights will be. So we'll start with side N. You'll see the light and sound. And then side S. And using here, each one uses a different voice. There's of course the stamping sounds, though this one actually has a unique stamping sound. But in addition, there are also voice lines that you get from pressing holding the buttons, 4 from each. So, for this one, for side N, we have REVI lines. And from this side we have Vice lines. Okay, that was actually the last one, so let's start from the beginning. And a cool thing you can do with these two is that in the show, they do have a little move where they kind of push these stamps together, and these two will actually magnetize to each other, so you can activate them together. Next, we'll get to the transformations, but because you can only use one ViStamp with the Revice driver at a time, we'll be doing these separately. So first we'll take a look at the Giffard Rex ViStamp side N. And there we have the transformation into Kamen Rider Ultimate REVI. Taking a look at it, something you can now notice is one very cool detail about the Giffard Rex ViStamp. The way they have the colors outlined basically matches up perfectly with the colors of the Revice driver, using the same color of clear purple, as well as adding in some nice pink and light blue to match up with the colors used for the belt. You'll see the stamp imprint here, which has a unique trait of being a bit of a different shape compared to other printings because of the way that they shape the back of the stamp. So from there, we can then do the REVI Giffard finish. And we also use another feature that involves the side N. So we come to the top here, and see a hinge, and this is actually a flap that will move outwards, revealing this port. So what we want to do is moving the camera up a little bit so you can see it properly. Well, let's put it on standby. Open up the hatch, flips it around, and then connect the two up top. Then when connected, you want to press the button on the side S. Create a final remix. We'll pull a lever. Get the final stamping remix attack. Then we'll use the Giffard Rex ViStamp side S. And there we have the transformation into Kamen Rider Ultimate Vice. Now, as you could hear, it was basically the same as the transformation song for Ultimate REVI, but with some parts of the song omitted. And that's something we'll get into in a little bit. But we now see the stamped imprint image, which is pretty similar to the one for Ultimate REVI, but with a little bit of a difference in the eyes. And again, the colors of the ViStamp very much complement that of the Revice driver. So next we'll use the Vice Giffard finish. And in addition, while in the show, only REVI is the one to use the final remix. With the toys, you can actually use it with Vice's side too. So the same process as before. Set standby. Open the flap on. Other stamp. Tighten it together. Press the stamp button. And activate. Now, in addition, while when we heard the two songs individually, they did sound similar, they are actually kind of meant to be played together, at least as far as the show goes, because they transform at the same time. Now, obviously, for that, you need a second Revice driver, and I actually happen to have one. At about the same time I got the Giffard Rex ViStamp, I also bought a second Revice driver for this purpose, but also because if you've seen some of my previous Revice videos, you might have noticed that the stamper on my original Revice driver was starting to not work so well. So I got a new one, which is this one, so that it could better display the printed images. Now, ideally, you'd want a second person to activate both at the same time, but I don't have a second person. I haven't ever had an assistant for my videos, So I kind of engineered a bit of a rough way of getting it to work. This might take a few takes, but what you'll see is the final take. So, let's get to trying it. And there we have a tandem transformation for Kamen Rider Ultimate Revi and Ultimate Vice. As you can hear, these songs definitely do complement each other. The one issue, though, is that for some reason there is a bit of a, I guess, something going on with the wiring or just something within the circuitry, to where at a certain point during the song they do get out of sync or they desync from each other. But being able to do this is a nice bonus of having two Revice drivers, though I guess the situation Bandai was envisioning was that one kid would buy them and then share it with another friend who also had a Revice driver. Still, we now see the differences between the two, and you also see the differences between how my new Revice driver displays the stamps versus the old one. And I'm not really sure what the cause of it was with this old one, but it happened nonetheless. So that's another reason why I wanted to get this new Revice driver. And finally, we'll show off the Giffard Rex ViStamp with the O-Wing Buster, because with all other devices they're compatible with, they just make generic sounds. So, start with side N. Let's try to get better stamping than that. Oh, one more try. There we go. Now, admittedly, it is definitely hard to get a good stamping with this because it doesn't have a raised bezel, and this does have that weird kind of shape to it compared to other Vice stamps. And we'll use Axe mode for side S. And there we go. Overall, I think this was the ideal way to make a final form Vice stamp for Revi and Vice. With every form before it, it's always been one stamp for two forms, or in the case of Cola power-ups, one stamp for one form. But with this, it actually made it so that both Revi and Vice have their own Revice driver and their own Vice stamp for the shared final form. And if you see them on the show, they actually are pretty similar, but that means they're both equal in power. And it's definitely handled pretty well in toys too, where each one has its own different transformation sound, different sound set, and different attacks. And it's also cool that you have that cool combined remix by linking the two stamps together, as well as having the linked form where they look like a T-Rex head, kind of taking things back to the beginning with Rex Genome, but upgraded to the max. Now, as far as the situation I have here goes, I'm just straight up gonna say, you do not have to buy a second Revice driver to fully enjoy this. You can get all of the features out of both stamps on their own, and while you won't be able to do the combined or kind of synchronized transformation, as you hear, it's not even perfect with the toys. So it's not necessary. I did, but if you can't afford to get a second belt, you don't have to. That being said, if you have the Revice driver, this is a stamp I'd absolutely recommend picking up, since this is of course the final form stamp, and I think it's a very good one. Next time, I'll be taking a look at the Deluxe Dead Man's ViStamp set. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KR50, writing off.